Welcome to the Words with Dr. Whitaker podcast. I'm so excited today that we have two of our chiefs with us, our Chief Financial Officer, Dr. Lonita Broome, and our Chief Operations Officer, Mr. Jarvis Adams. These two individuals work tirelessly and also together quite often. So today's podcast really will feature some parts of our strategic plan, but most importantly, one of those strategic accelerators that we talk about a lot, which is organizational effectiveness and excellence. So we are here in our second month of the school year. How has the school year been for both of you?
It's long.
It's been what? Long? What? It's been long. Why has the school year been long?
A lot going on.
I think we are going to unpack some of a lot that has been going on.
Yes.
Okay. And what about you, Mr. Adams?
So it is a lot going on. It's been a lot of fun. This is my first school opening in City Schools of Decatur. And so I've enjoyed it from the back to school bash to the community meetings. It's been a great experience so far.
Awesome. So whether it's long, fun, whatever it may be, we're going to talk about it here today in the podcast. So we are in year 3 of our strategic plan, which is All in Decatur. All in Decatur is the strategic plan that was launched and unveiled in March of 2023. So we are in year 3, almost at the midpoint. I kind of say that we're almost at the peak and the precipice. But as that climb associated with the mountain, the air gets a little thin. Yes. So I think that's why, Dr. Broome, you said it's been long. Yes. It's been a little, you had to catch your breath a little bit. You need a little oxygen. Understood. But our strategic plan is one that is 5 years, and there are 4 main tenets. The first tenet, or strategic accelerator, is why we do what we do every single day: student success in all areas. The second strategic accelerator is building and sustaining an engaging and inclusive culture. So in order for our students to have success, it's vital that this culture is created and it's co-developed. It's co-developed because, of course, the students help to build this culture and remain engaged in this culture. But also, it's co-developed with our staff, which takes me to our third accelerator. This strategic accelerator is one about our professionals. How do we cultivate? How do we retain high-quality professionals that ultimately build that culture with the students to ensure success? But the final strategic accelerator is the one that we will focus on today, which is really where both of your work lives for the most part, which is around organizational effectiveness and also excellence. Dr. Broome.
Yes, ma'am.
How long have you been with CSD?
It's been 5 years.
5 years in
5
CSD.
years, yes.
Okay, so as the Chief Financial Officer in the City Schools of Decatur, last year you accomplished a lot.
Yeah. Last year was a year of achievement for the finance department.
Okay, so let's talk about some of those achievements in the finance department.
Okay. We did our first budget book, and we received not 1, but 2 awards.
Oh,
Yes,
very
yes,
exciting.
yes.
So why is this budget book so significant?
The budget book allows us to be as transparent as possible. The
Mm-hmm.
budget book contains details on where the money is spent, how the money is spent, what department is spending, what schools is spending, their budget, their actual spend. All the financial planning is listed in the budget book.
Well, congratulations on not only just one award, but how many,
2.
How many did you receive?
2 awards.
I'm
2
sorry,
awards.
I didn't hear that. How many?
2 awards.
Yes.
2 awards, yes, for this budget book. And so really excited about this. I know you talked about the spend, but also does it speak about the revenue and the way in which
Yes.
we we have the money to spend.
Yes, it speaks on all sources of the revenue, the different funding types, how we receive, what percentage we receive as far as the bulk of the money. So everything you ever want to know about finances for city schools of Decatur, you can find in this 300-plus page book.
Oh, this 300-plus page book.
About 369, but I didn't count them.
Dr. Broome, you and I work closely together.
Extremely.
Extremely?
Yes.
Okay, so to talk about what does working closely with the superintendent entail when it comes to finances?
Actually, it's support and pressure.
Oh.
It is. But I must say that you are the first superintendent that I have worked with that has been aware of the budget as far as the process, how it works, and how to build a budget. And the support that you have given me has allowed my department to accomplish things such as the awards of the budget book. Yeah. So I appreciate that. Now, you can be hard, but that just pushes me.
I agree. So we often talk about the teaspoon. I know the cabinet talks about the teaspoon. Yes. Transparency, support, and pressure.
Yes.
It's a combination of the three, and depending upon where we are, this is what lever we're pulling. And fiscal transparency is not only a tenet of the strategic plan, but literally it is one of the objectives.
It's huge.
It's huge. And so, yes, we've had an award-winning budget book, but talk to me a little bit about the ongoing changes in finance. I know we've had position change throughout our working together.
Yes.
We've also really talked about the way in which and how you present to the board. So talk to us a little bit about those changes.
Sure. So currently we are last year we used a modified zero-based budgeting process, which means for the operational side, we started with zero. In the past, we had the budgets just rolled over. But once you came on board, we used the modified zero-based budgeting, which means they started with zero and they had to justify every penny. So that made the process more efficient. And also with the schools, we were able to give them a per pupil expenditure since they were leaving so much money on the table.
Mr. Adams,
Yes.
You're in the role of a chief operations officer in CSD, correct?
Right.
But what role have you also had?
So I served as a high school principal and a middle school principal.
Okay. Talk to us a little bit around why that per pupil expenditure helps the principal do what they do.
So you have a variety of students, and to address those variety of needs, you need to be innovative and creative. And you're going to need funds to bring in resources, to try things, to give your teacher space to experiment and reach students where they are, and then allow those students to create different organizations and clubs where they can foster themselves. So having that per pupil expenditure, that goes a long way in just the evolution of a school.
Excellent, excellent. So just drawing on a little bit of your experience in this, but I will say keeping money on the table or leaving money on the table, what does that do to the overall budget, Dr. Broome, when we do keep money on the table?
Right. So we start off with a budget. At the end of the year, if you do not spend all of your funds, those are funds that are left and they go to the district fund balance, which is equivalent to the district savings. So when we build the budget the next year, those are the funds that we start with.
And so how do we in CSD use those funds? Where do we tap in? How do we tap in? Or do we ever tap in?
Yes, we tap in if the revenues are lower than the expenditures, then the fund balance will cover the difference.
Okay. All right. So we have some goals for finance moving forward. What would be some of those goals you would want for the finance department?
One of the biggest goals is to purchase a finance and HR system.
An ERP.
ERP system, exactly, so that we can be more efficient and we can bring more value to the district.
Yeah. Because when we are leaving money on the table or we have forecasted where there is a variance between what you expected to spend and your actual spend, those are some of the things we want to mitigate.
Right, because there could be a possibility of lowering the millage rate. But we don't know this with our current system because there's only so much tracking that we can do.
Yes. So I know that we're here with the operations department, but the HR department is a partner with you in this tremendously, correct?
Yes, because the budget, over 85% of the budget is personnel.
Over 85% of our budget is personnel. Was it always 85%?
No.
It was not 85% when I started. I know.
That's correct. That's correct.
We're about at 78%.
Yeah, we bought a lot of stuff.
We bought stuff.
Right.
And not necessarily people.
Exactly.
Okay. Is 85% typical for?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's traditional.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So is our budget season just one that, I know we talk about it heavily as a community in March and April and things like that, but is that a process that is really just only focused in right there?
No, the budget season is ongoing. It's pretty much year round. The fiscal year 26 budget was passed in May of this year. This month, we presented to the board the fiscal year 27 budget calendar.
Wow.
So fiscal year 27 season has
Already started.
Yes.
What are some key highlights on that calendar for our community in case they want to tune in or engage in other ways? What are some key highlights about that?
We have the budget feedback link, and that's on the district's website, the finance page, where the community can voice their concerns, input, ask questions, and I respond to every question, every comment that's submitted, and the board is also presented with a copy of the feedback link. We also have community meetings in which the community can come out and speak directly with the Board of Education and the superintendent. They can ask questions, receive clarification, so it's open feedback. And at every board meeting, I present a monthly financial report, and the public is also allowed to speak publicly if they have any comments about that.
Wow. So it sounds like there are two-way engagement opportunities through the community meeting, two-way with staff almost through the budget link.
Yes.
And then obviously one-way communication as you are presenting to the board and to the public.
Yeah, on a monthly basis.
Yeah. And so, of course, any school system is looking at their finances on an ongoing basis.
Yes.
But specifically in the city schools of Decatur, we do not access Title I funds.
Correct.
Like the majority of our peers.
Yes.
Or the majority of Georgia.
Right.
So it is vital for us to understand that local dollar that comes in through the millage rate.
Correct. That's our largest portion of revenue.
That's the largest portion of revenue. Okay. All right. Well, you sit almost in reverse in cabinet every Monday.
Right.
So I say in reverse because typically you're on the other side, but the two of you sit next to one another because your work ties so closely together. And the operations department is one of the largest departments in number and budget.
That's right. Yes, they utilize both general fund and SPLOST funds.
Oh.
So we work together closely.
So what are SPLOST funds? Because that's key as we do transition to talk about operations, but what exactly are SPLOST funds?
SPLOST funds are a 1 cent sales tax for every purchase spent in DeKalb County.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so the district receives 1 cent.
And when does that come up for a vote again for all of us?
2027.
Okay. All right. So it's a great segue because a lot of the SPLOST funds are used in the area of operations.
Yes.
Okay. So Mr. Adams, I know that y'all joke all the time. And we've done a lot to get you up to speed and bring you up to speed in your role. How long have you been with us here in CSD?
So now just a little over 6 months.
Oh, a little over 6 months.
Yep.
Your first board presentation, you were how many months into the role?
10 days into the role.
10 days. 10 days.
Yeah, it was a 10-day report.
It was a 10-day report.
We broke them in quickly.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
And that was 2 presentations on that night.
It was. So I say that because you did ramp up very quickly to understand where we are, what our strengths are as a school system, and you spoke very eloquently to them, but also our opportunities, and specifically opportunities in operation. So what are some of the most immediate plans that you want to achieve now that you've been here for 6 months, a lot longer than the 2-week presentation that you had to get ready? Now that you've been here for 6 months, talk to me. What are some of the goals, some of the things you want to achieve?
So it's 3 main things that come to mind outside of making sure that I'm financially responsible. So Dr. Broome and I can continue to get along. Is one around facilities.
Okay.
And so there's a need. We have older schools, most of them average age around 72 years old. And so there's some renovations, some modernizations that need to take place. So right now, the principals have given me their top 5 things they would love to see done to their school. And so I walk the building with the principals, see exactly what it is, make sure it makes sense. And so it looks like I haven't seen anything yet that we're not going to be able to do. And it's going to be very beneficial to the students.
Great.
But in the same vein of facilities is we have maintenance tickets. And so we want to become very efficient with serving maintenance tickets and doing the preventive maintenance so we won't have so many breakdowns on the equipment that we have.
Because 71-year-old buildings, on average, that means some of them are older.
Yeah, we have a couple over 100 years old.
Over 100 years old.
Yeah.
And so I know when you're talking over 100 years old, being brought up to code.
Of course, these schools were built before air conditioning or electricity. Electricity is the way that it is now. And so there are some problems that persist, but it's a labor of love. It's like this old house, that old TV show. And so
I
you
remember
love
that
working
show.
love working on the older schools because they're so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
They're so charming when you walk into them. So to bring them back to life and help them, pop the way that they should, just like the houses in the neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
So it is a labor of love, but it does require consistent labor.
Yes.
And
yes.
so that is facilities and maintenance, making sure they're clean and spotless, make sure kids have clean places to go. One of the things we're working on in the elementaries immediately is renovating the restrooms for the K2s, making sure that those restrooms are brought up to speed for a kid, for between 5 and 8 years old.
Okay.
A lot more kid friendly. And so we're excited about that. Then transportation. With transportation, to make sure our routes are on time and safe, and that we have a modern current fleet that's up and running. And then nutrition. We want to make sure that we have meals that students enjoy, that give them the energy to finish out their day, but also are financially responsible on the district side and not asking parents to pay as much as they would pay at a restaurant.
Yes. So the need for finance, once again, an intersection between your two areas. From a finance perspective, making sure that we have a price point that is not too much, and at the same time that we have a meals and a menu that wants to engage our families.
Yes.
Talk to me a little bit about what that means. I know when you first came, you were looking at some percentages, and it had to do with meals. And what was that about?
So we have participation rates. And so our breakfast participation rate, it was low last year. And it's climbing above. Right now, we're trending in a good direction. And so lunch participation and breakfast participation has increased. And with that, we're going to receive reimbursable funds from the state.
Okay.
Which means we will require less subsidy from the general fund in financing our nutrition program. So we're being very intentional. We're consistently looking at the data. We're seeing which lunches have a higher participation rate, which ones have a lower participation rate, also at the grade bands. And so the menu will constantly evolve until we figure out exactly what kids want to eat and that they're willing to pay for, and making sure that our kids with diabetes and other health risks understand the calorie intake and and make sure they make healthy decisions.
Yes. Because I think growing up, it might have been pizza day and nugget day. And that was about pretty much what we rotated through
Yeah.
in Philadelphia.
Pizza,
That's about what we had in Philadelphia. I don't know what you had where you are, but that was what we had in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But now it's definitely evolved.
But Pizza Day
Still hit.
and Chicken and Waffle Day have replaced Chicken and Nuggets Day.
Oh, well, I like chicken and waffle now, so that's all good. That is all good. In your area, and it lives in your area, but obviously you're a key to it as well, Dr. Broome, is our new Early Childhood Learning Center and the Decatur High School expansion. There's a lot of buzz about that.
Yes.
Okay.
And it should be a lot of buzz. It's a very exciting project.
Okay.
I'm really happy to be a part of it. Finance has set us a framework around money, what the budget would be.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have the opportunity to be creative with our architects and our construction companies on bringing this into reality.
Okay.
The ECLC, it begins that cradle to career.
Yes.
And so we're going to be able to serve students that traditionally wouldn't be served.
Okay.
We're going to be able to use space that has been sitting on our books since 2017. We paid $4.6 million. But in using that space, we're also going to be able to give back to the community. About 40% of that land will be reserved for green space for community usage. So I'm excited that we're able to work with the community and make sure that we just don't erase. I don't know if any other developers in the city of Decatur are being as accommodating to the community as City Schools of Decatur.
Yes.
But this facility is going to be LEED Silver certification. It's going to fit all of Decatur 2.0 sustainability goals. So it's going to fit perfectly into the footprint of the city of Decatur. And it's just going to do a phenomenal job serving our students and relieving the pressures of the Fraser Center. And that's just the first domino of a set of 4.
Okay.
And then we go over to the high school with the expansion, which is much needed.
Yes.
So we're going to be able to add facilities for athletics and the arts, an auxiliary gym that can serve both. Really excited about that. The CTAE space that we're going to have, we have gone to look at other schools.
I would say we went to Walton
all the way in Cobb.
All the way in Cobb.
And my experience as a former principal I've walked many schools in the metro area and just around Georgia. So understanding what CTAE space needs to look like and how we future-proof Decatur High. So not only do we fit the need now, but we fit the need for down the road of students in Decatur High School. I'm just super excited. It is some phenomenal teachers over at Decatur High, especially in the CTAE department, that when I speak to them, like we're talented enough to have 2 architect teachers. That's a hard position to fill in schools.
Yes.
But to give them the space where they really need to, we have 2 teachers because there's a desire for students to learn.
Yes.
And working on this project, we paid our architects a lot of money. So it's a very beneficial job.
It's a very beneficial job. And when I think about the fact that we have students who have been a part of our envisioning process that worked alongside our architects as we brought the community in, and now I know one who was applying for a paid internship, working with our architects. So it's not only about what we're building, obviously, for the students to come, but for the current students, how can they see themselves?
Yeah.
So you mentioned a domino. So the first one is the Early Learning Center that would go on the land, essentially,
Yes,
on West Trinity. But let's talk about phase 1. So phase 1 is a construction of an auxiliary gym, potentially doing some work to expand fine arts.
Yes, much needed work.
Okay, so talk to me a little bit about the athletic side and why auxiliary gym is so needed in CSD.
Got it. So CSD now has over 16 varsity sports.
Okay.
Not every varsity sport is outside. So that having that space to practice is extremely important.
But wait a second. You're talking so articulately or eloquently about athletics. Tell me, why is this also something you know so much about?
So once upon a time, I was a coach. Once upon a time, I was an athletic director. And believe it or not, once upon a time, I was an athlete. So all those experiences. But as a principal, there's 3 buckets that most principals focus on: Academics, of course, is number one. And then there's the buckets of athletics and the arts. And we understand that every kid is not coming to school excited to read Beowulf. It's other things that's going to attract students to school.
I didn't like Beowulf.
Yeah.
To be honest.
I enjoyed Beowulf. It's one of my favorites. But
give me a different one. I like classics, but
maybe
not
Canterbury
that one.
Tales.
Yes, I love that one.
But I like
love that
Beowulf.
one. Okay.
Beowulf like to fight, so I like Beowulf. But we understand every student has different motivators. And so not only do they have different motivators, they need different outlets to express themselves. Some would do it through sports, some would do it through the arts. And making sure that they have those spaces is really the bare minimum of what a school should do. So there's been talk of what schools used to be, right? But modern day schools, for right now, where we have to create spaces for students to become creative and create new ideas, because we don't know exactly what the future is going to hold. We have to have spaces for students to explore. And so that phase one, where we have this gym and this fine arts expansion, this is places where that's going to allow kids to find their niche, to find their tribe. And so not only is it good from an academic and career exploration, it's good for mental health.
Yes.
It's good. It's a good childhood to be able to flourish in the band, to be on the drill team, to be on the drum line, to do not only outside marching band percussion, but to do indoor drum line and to go off and compete and meet people that do the same things. And so that's how friendships are made. That strengthens the community when kids have these bonds together. So I'm just really excited about creating both spaces for those students, in the fine arts and the athletic world.
Yes, and at one time you were all those things as for athletics, so you also helped to oversee the athletics here in CSD.
Yes.
You do that too. Okay, awesome. So then phase 2 is the renovation of the Fraser Center and the CSD CTAE program. So what is the Fraser Center now, and where is it going?
So the Fraser Center was originally created to help teen moms.
Okay.
So they could stay in school, continue their education. It was kids made a mistake, and so we don't want to condemn a child for the mistake. So there's a space so a teen mom can continue their education.
So they're dropping their child off.
Yes.
At basically where the orange or green boxes are.
Yep.
Or actually the orange box.
Yep.
They're dropping their children off. So do we have a lot of teen moms now?
So we have a few. We don't have a lot. But we did just have one that graduated during a board meeting.
Yes.
She was a summer graduate.
Yes, she
was. She held her baby in her arms. So
yes, in that picture. It was very powerful.
And so that shows there still is a need. It's a real need. But also when you walk through the Fraser Center, you see a lot of our teacher kids there. And so being in education now, this is my 29th year, and being a parent, having a place to bring your child, huge. Right. But it's not just any place. It's a place where they're going to be loved on, because you have some phenomenal staff in the Fraser Center. So you're dropping them off in a loving environment. That's a plus. They're right here where you work. That's a plus.
I live Snowmageddon, and mine weren't right where I work, so I agree.
And they're going to get a quality start to their educational career. So that's 3 pluses.
Yes.
And so our faculty is getting this at a very discounted rate.
Yes.
Which helps us retain staff.
Yes. It's a true retention tool and a recruitment tool. I know a new staff member that said that's one of the reasons why I selected CSD when they were moving into the Atlanta metro area. So the Fraser Center that serves children from birth to 3 now are going to move to the new Early Childhood Learning Center. Yes. And then we've already kind of talked about phase 3, which is now once they move out, what will then happen?
So then we would make these future-ready CTAE labs. And so I know we visited Walton High. Our robotics program told us, hey, we don't have a space. And so we hear that a lot with some of the athletic teams. We hear with other organizations, we don't have space. And so to it, we're not just adding square footage, we're adding the space that our students need.
Yes.
And I think you probably agree. When we went to Walton, we really saw the potential that space creates in kids and the ownership. And I feel the students in city schools of Decatur at Decatur High are phenomenal.
Yes.
And so we need to give them the space where they're able to defeat Walton High in robotics.
That's right. And they can
Anything
have
else
those
we do.
banners.
Right.
We want banners at Decatur High for
Yes,
robotics.
we do. Yes, we do.
But yeah, so I'm excited. The architecture kids, I've been in their lab a couple times, and I'm excited for the Early Childhood Learning Center. Those students that are there to pick up the CTAE pathway of early learning, for them to have a modern space.
Yes.
Whereas, top of the line space.
Yes.
I'm excited for them to have that learning experience.
And that childhood development pathway, when I went with the board, we went to Grand Rapids earlier this year in February, they were able to see a lab school that is in partnership with a community college so that those that were learning, just like our high school students are learning, there are observation rooms so that they can see what's happening in the room. There's a little classroom there so that then they can debrief and actually have class, all of those things. But all of that costs money, doesn't it?
It does.
So the final guaranteed maximum price, what are we trying to stay within for the new ECLC and the Decatur High School expansion?
$35 million.
$35 million.
Oh, I love how you both say that together. Well, let's say it all together.
$35 million.
That's right. So within $35 million.
Yes.
When are we expecting to have that guaranteed maximum price?
So we will have it on October 8th. We will present it to the board on October 14th.
Okay. So October 14th is big day. Yeah. So now when I think about this process, we've been talking about it, I know, since I started, but now we are to the point where we're pretty much presenting monthly on it. Yes. Last month you presented on it, and this upcoming month you're going to present on it.
Correct.
And present on it. Talk to me. What are you going to share? What's so significant around the financing on October the 14th?
So on October the 14th, we will be able to give the board the final price pretty much. And so the board will vote on the resolution again, and we'll take it back to the Public Facility Authority on the 15th.
Yes. So to catch our viewers up, that long start of the school year that Dr. Broome referenced earlier was we have been working with the Public Facilities Authority to say, do you intend to be the conduit for this financing of these projects? To which that was signed back in very early August, and
Correct.
we would come back to the PFA once we did have a guaranteed maximum price. Also, we engaged the community around 2 community meetings on the projects. So that intent was signed by the PFA, and now we will present to the board as staff a resolution around the parameters and the pricing. But truly, the PFA, the next night, correct?
Correct.
The next night is planning to convene and at that meeting, they will receive and approve that guaranteed maximum price.
Correct.
And the intergovernmental agreements happen and all the things like that, correct?
Yes, all the legal documents.
All the legal documents. So we're excited about October 14th and 15th, as those are some very key dates and milestones. The following month would be November. Who's presenting, or what's the topic? Do we know?
So I think that's programming. Programming is next.
Okay. And
Then
then
after programming, it'd be HR.
Human Resources on December the 9th.
Yep.
And that is when we will also have
The groundbreaking.
Yeah.
the groundbreaking.
I can't wait.
We
I
are so
can't
excited.
wait.
Yes.
Yes, so very excited to have all of our partners, and we have partners such as GMC and Parish and Ascension, Project Management, all of us coming together to break ground on a facility that will be a game changer for the city schools of Decatur. last time we were here, I was sitting across the table from Karen and Jennifer, our deputy superintendent and assistant superintendent of teaching and learning. And we talked about the outcomes and the fact that we are number one in the state for literacy in grades 3, 5, 6, 7, and 8. But that's when we get them in kindergarten. What will happen when we can get them at birth?
Right.
That's what I'm excited for.
Yes.
I'm really excited.
I'm excited about that opportunity to be able to say this is our entire community. But still, even with this new early childhood learning center, it wouldn't capture all children, correct?
No, we still won't be able to capture all children. However, we're going to be able to start closing that gap drastically.
Mm-hmm. Yes, because we won't have the gap if they come in that early.
Right.
Yes, we won't have it. So, Dr. Broome, Mr. Adams, I thank you so much for being all in. We've covered a lot today in our podcast. And like I said, we're at almost the peak, midpoint of this 5-year strategic plan of all in Decatur. And we look forward to the monthly updates from whether it's finance or HR or programming. I'm almost seeing it as a rotation.
Right.
Safety and security, because we want people to be engaged, because this does speak to the transparency around the programming and what we offer here in the city schools of Decatur. So thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for being on the podcast. And most importantly, thank you for your commitment to the city schools of Decatur and being all in for all children.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we love it.
Yes. Thank you so much for tuning in with Words with Dr. Whitaker. Have a great and wonderful day.